So here's my way too early prediction for the 2028 U.S. presidential race. It is going to be, though, I think so many people are hyper-focused on it. I see videos all the time here on YouTube already talking about 2028. Part of the reason is we just got done with 2024. But I think the other reason is this is going to be probably the most important presidential election in a long time because of the way, like, both parties are gonna have to go with something kind of new, and I'll get into what I mean about that. But this is gonna be fascinating. I mean, looking at the list of candidates right now, which I'm gonna go over, of who I think is probably going to run, maybe likely to actually get the nominee. It's just there's gonna be a lot of new faces. There's gonna be a lot of souls. Both parties, I think, the soul of the party for the Republicans and the Democrats are gonna be fought for in 2028. Because it's going to be kind of an end of an era, end of an era. So again, it's way too early, and we don't know what's going to happen in the next 4 years. And all of this is really going to depend on the next 4 years. So that's why this is obviously way too early. But just look at Trump's first term, 2016 to 2020, literally COVID changing the entire world in the final 6 months of his term. That's insane, absolutely insane to think about. So who knows what will happen in the next 4 years? You could say the same thing about Joe Biden's term, is because he started off with COVID and then he ended with, COVID was done. We finally got through that. So the soul of both parties is going to be fought for, and it's going to be, everything's going to be sent into a new direction, I think. So here we go. I'm going to start with the Republicans for people that are likely to run. This one's the easy stuff. The Democrats are going to be a lot more interesting. But so obviously I think the front runner that most people will say is it'll probably be J.D. Vance, but his with a really important, what's the word? What is the word I'm trying to think of? Everything for him pretty much at this point relies on if the American public thinks that Trump did a good job in his second term. That's about it. If the American public think that Trump did a good enough job or barely passing job or whatever, then J.D. Vance is looking pretty good for the Republican side. He'll probably be the nominee, especially with all the memes, man. I'm shocked at the J.D. Vance memes. He is everywhere, and it's being shared by both sides of the political aisle, which is really funny. And I think ultimately that's just going to help him. I think all those memes are really going to, because I remember the memes back in when Obama left in 2016, there were all these memes that were pushing Joe Biden, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if that was real. That felt a little, I'll be honest, at the time, that felt a little artificial. It felt like something didn't feel authentic about those Joe Biden memes back in 2016. Remember, this is a completely different world. This is Trump's first day in office, and that's when these Joe Biden memes were kind of everywhere. But I will say the J.D. Vance memes feel real. I don't know what's going on, but this feels like, because you got people clearly making fun of him and people just laughing at him but liking him. So that it just feels like this is very natural. But anyways, I think he will be the top contender for the Republican Party. Even if Trump doesn't do a good job, though, I will say he does seem like the type that will he started off as a not Trump guy. So if Trump doesn't do a good job, I don't think he would make the same mistake that Kamala did. I think that he would distance himself absolutely from Trump. He might even do that while in office. Who knows? He might even, the last year, if Trump's looking bad, he might slowly try to start separating himself so that he has a chance to actually run and get in the primary for 2028. I heard someone say Donald Trump Jr. That I don't know. That's just crazy. I haven't even really considered that, to be honest, even though I guess I should have. But that could be the next thing. I mean, that's kind of the weird way we like to do U.S. politics. We really for the last while now, we like this family stuff. Maybe it goes deeper than that. Yeah, I mean, it's not even just recent U.S. history. I mean, you can go back to the Roosevelts. You can go back to, there's other examples of family members, basically. But, you have the Clintons, the Obamas, the Bushes. Reagan was just Reagan, but yeah, we do like family. So yeah, I guess Donald Trump Jr. It is possible. The other third option is I guess anyone in Trump's cabinet, because they're all getting a lot of media attention right now. So they're all getting a lot of name recognition, and they're probably going to continue to get a lot of name recognition. But more so, I feel like more so this time Trump's cabinet's getting more media attention and recognition than the first time. It really feels like everyone generally, people that are generally paying attention to U.S. politics right now, they know some of the big names in his cabinet. And I think it's partly because these are like very different picks than his first term. So I think that's why the media is really focusing in on this. But we'll see in 4 years. And then the final thing is, there'll probably be like a lot of just like random Republican governors and senators that run for president again in 2028. But those are just a couple of the options. Maybe a woman. They keep saying, I keep hearing that theory that that the U.S. is likely to have the first woman president in the U.S. will be a Republican. I keep hearing that thrown around. I mean, it's possible. But anyways, let's move on to the Democratic Party. This is the more exciting stuff. I feel like all that stuff was pretty obvious. But yeah, so this is, I talked about how both souls of the party, both parties and their souls are going to be fought in 2028. But I think it's really in the Democratic Party. Like there's going to be such a massive battle, more so than ever before, I think. More so, the last time, you'd have to go back to like 1992 when so Reagan won 2 terms and then George Bush was president for 1 term. 1992, the Democrats had been really just hurting for a decade and a half there. So I think 2028 is going to be similar to 1992 in this sense. We don't really know the direction that's going to go in. And if you're a certain person, on the left, that's where things are really, the change is going to happen, because you got to make sure that the right person in the Democratic primary wins out if you want real change in the overall party. And I know that's what a lot of people, that's pretty much what everyone on the left is pretty much talking about at this point. So that's where the real battle happens. Nothing's really going to happen, honestly, for the left, I think, for the next 3 years. There's not really going to be, no one's going to know the new direction up until this moment in 2028. So that's why this is so important for them. Obviously, the big one is Kamala Harris. I don't think she'll run again. Usually people don't do that. If they run and they don't win, they're done. They just kind of disappear. It's not always the case, but in recent U.S. history, Trump is the exception, obviously, because he won, then lost, then won again. But usually you just kind of disappear if you never was president, if you never were president before. So I don't think she's really going to try. They're saying that she's going to run for California governor. Speaking of which, Newsom is the other one that's trying to probably run. Now, I'm from California. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the guy. I would not be. I think that'd be a bad idea. TBH. But that's mainly just because of California stuff. I think that'd be a bad idea. But that's going to be interesting if he does win the nominee, because I will probably talk about some things that I did not like that he's done. It's funny. This would be the first time where it's I have actively watched California politics in the last, how long has he been in office? 6 years? 7 years? 8 years? Something like that. And I think that would be useful. I love when people are very lucky. I feel like I haven't been able to do that, where when a certain state governor or state senator runs, most of the nation doesn't really know much about this guy. So you have to talk to the people that were actually in the state, talk about what he was doing, what his policies were, and things like that. But yeah, Stephen A. Smith is being thrown around a lot. That's a crazy one. Honestly, here's the thing. What I think, that doesn't really seem like what the Democrats do. The Democrats don't elect celebrities like the Republicans do. The Republicans, with Reagan, he was an actor, and Trump, that's more of a thing on the right, traditionally, I feel. So whenever they've been throwing around certain celebrities running as the Democratic the Democratic election for president, they've been throwing that around for a long time. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is another good example on the right. He was governor of California as well. Yeah, that's just like a right thing. I don't think that the left does that. So I don't know why. I just don't think that people can back that stuff. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for that political. Maybe I'll be proved wrong, but any celebrity like The Rock or Oprah, all that stuff, I'm like, that's never going to happen. I'd bet money. So Stephen A. Smith, no, I don't think that's going to happen. Speaking of which, Michelle Obama, she already said in a podcast recently that she's not going to do it, but that goes in line with what I was saying about the soul of the Democratic Party, because the Clintons are gone, right? Bill's old, Hillary's done, she can't run again. I don't think their daughter is going to, what's her name, Chelsea? I don't think she's going to run. She's not even in office. And then the Obamas are essentially done. Obama can't run again. Michelle doesn't want to run. And Joe Biden is done too. Like, he was a part of the Obama era. So I don't know. I don't even know. So even if there was another person a part of the Obama era, I don't know who it would be. They'd be significantly smaller. You have to, I feel like, just like George Bush was a part of the Reagan era, the dad, not Junior, but when it's like a vice president like that, I feel like you kind of have to contribute, like, oh, that's a part of that era. So anyways, I think those two eras, those two big families of the Democratic Party are pretty much done, and that's why I think the soul is going to be fought for. I was going to throw in a joke here saying Hunter Biden, but I don't think he's going to run. I don't think Hunter has a chance here, but who knows? Everyone's talking about Tim Walz, who ran for under Kamala. That would be interesting. He's going to, and I think he is trying to separate himself from Kamala and what she did wrong, maybe, or Josh Shapiro, Pete Buttigieg. The big one, though, honestly, I think, this is the most interesting question that I ask myself is, what about AOC? Does she have a chance? To be honest, I don't think in 4 years she's going to do it. But in 8 years, I could see it happening. And the reason why I say this, she does not pop up in my world very often. But when she does, I'm like, damn, she's still so popular online, like still really, really popular. So she does look good. I just, I'm purely talking about, like, because she popped up in my TikTok algorithm. My TikTok algorithm doesn't tend to get very political, but she did pop up once. And I'm like, it just some TikTok. She had like 350,000 views. And I was just kind of shocked because I'm like, wow, she's still killing it. So I'm like, okay, she probably can if she avoids any sort of controversy, but I don't know in 4 years if she's going to be ready. She's still a little bit young. Maybe she will. And I think she has maybe a good chance. I think 8 years would be really good, but you don't know what's going to happen in 8 years. Maybe a person in the Democratic Party does win in 4 years, and then her window really closes. So it's really going to be interesting. Maybe Bernie supports her. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Bernie's done. So that's another reason. No soul. It's complete new direction for the Democratic Party, more than likely. Maybe Bernie like heavily endorses AOC. I don't know. But that's the reason why I wanted to make this video, because I think that's the question that a lot of people are asking, myself included. Like, would she be ready in 4 years, and how good of a chance does she actually have? Whether you think these people will win or not, I think it's just an interesting conversation to have. I feel like nowadays no one wants to be objective, and it's really annoying because we've been doing this. I've been watching this for like 9 years, and it's like, it's just very frustrating. Whether you think these people would win the presidency or not, it's still an interesting question on both sides to ask who is looking good, and just to try to put yourself in the mindset of both parties and just try to think like, oh, okay, well, this party might want to do this. This party might want to do this. This base of the party maybe would want to go in this direction. It's a fun thought experiment.